I'm giving you the easiest chocolate fudge candy recipe. They are so chewy and they're so good. This will take like 10 minutes of your time, and then you'll have 2 pounds of chocolate fudge candies. And additional time if you decide to wrap them individually like I did. Before you make the fudge, I recommend to prepare a container and line it with some wax paper. Because once the fudge is ready, you have to pour it out right away. The first important thing is to make sure your pot is very clean. Please, that's important. Add half of a cup of sugar and start heating up the sugar on medium heat. Another important thing is that you can't mix the sugar. If you need to spread the sugar around, you can pick the pot and swirl it around a little bit, because if you mix the sugar, it will crystallize, and then when you eat the fudge, you'll have those crumbs of sugar in the fudge. Another important thing is that you have to melt the sugar completely, but you can't burn the sugar. So if you see the colors turning brown but you still have some sugar left, you can pick up the pot and swirl it in the air a little bit. So you can see the sugar is melted completely and it's very clear, and that's perfect. Now add 1/4 of a cup of butter, that's half of a stick. And make sure you mix in the butter completely, especially those sides of the pot. You want the butter to be mixed in very well. Once the butter is melted completely, you'll add 1 can of condensed milk. Mix it very well. And this one is very important. You only want the condensed milk to start to boil. Don't let it thicken, because then you'll have fudge and not chewy candies. So when you see those first bubbles, add chocolate chips. Add 1 cup of chocolate chips. Reduce the heat to low and mix in the chocolate. When you see those first bubbles, add 3/4 of a cup of nuts. Adding nuts is optional, and I'm adding pecans. Remove the pot from the heat right away and transfer it to a container. Give it a good tap to make it all even and nice. And then don't touch until it cools down completely. If you're like me and you didn't line the sides, you might need to use a knife to run along the edges. Cut the candy. I'm cutting mine into even rectangles. You can see the fudge is sticky, and that's good because those candies need to be chewy. And then if you want to wrap them, you'll get a piece of parchment paper. Place the candy in the center. Fold one side around the candy. Then I'll fold the other side of the parchment paper, and then I'll fold it around the candy as well. First, I'll collect all the edges of the parchment paper together, and then I'll twist the edges of both sides of the parchment paper, and that will seal the candy. Look how cute this is. Also, when you wrap them, they will stay fresh and they look more presentable that way. Okay, let's open one up. So when I first wrapped them, they were a little sticky, but this is the second day and you can see it's not sticking to the parchment paper, but if you eat it, it'll be chewy, and that's perfection. You can put them in the box and give it to people for Christmas. Also, I have a chocolate fudge recipe on my channel. I will leave a link in the description, and that will be great for Christmas gifts as well. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new recipes every week. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays!